This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
$30,000 to $40,000 a year job is not enough for someone that's going to be charged $1,200 a month for rent.
The lack of affordable housing continues to be one of the biggest issues on the Suncoast, but there could be a new type of answer. Tiny houses. One man is taking the lessons he learned from the Great Recession and picking up on a national movement to offer a solution. Could it work? And would you be willing to go small? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on tiny homes in Venice coming up. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin tonight in Tampa, where President Donald Trump made his first official stop in Florida since taking the oath of office. Today, he spoke at MacDill Air Force Base, where he received briefings from military leaders. U.S. Central Command runs all military operations in the Middle East from MacDill. The president shared a lunch with some soldiers at the base, while dozens of protesters lined the streets outside voicing opposition to Trump's policies and executive orders. The president defended his ban on immigration and refugees from 7 majority Muslim nations.
We need strong programs so that people that love us and want to love our country and will end up loving our country are allowed in, not people that want to destroy us and destroy our country.
President Trump also seemed to do a 180 on his position concerning NATO, expressing strong support for the alliance. In the past, he has called NATO obsolete. A cyber attack has compromised the tax information of more than 7,700 employees of the Manatee County School District. The IRS and FBI is investigating, and that after a hack compromised the W-2 information of employees. The attack was in the form of an email. It was sent to the district's payroll division, claiming to be from Superintendent Dr. Diana Green, and it had one specific request.
Forward all school employees 2016 W-2 forms to me, attached and sent in a PDF.
The district is working with its insurance company to make sure all employees are covered by the All Clear ID network to protect their information from being abused. In Sarasota, environmentalist groups are pushing the city commission to join a statewide effort to ban the use of plastic bags. State lawmakers are considering a measure to deal with what some are calling the plastic bag crisis. The bill would also allow coastal communities like Sarasota to enact a temporary ban on plastic bags to study the environmental impact. Minnesota 88 says the Suncoast has a responsibility to join the effort.
We're hoping that the city of Sarasota will participate in that pilot program. It's extremely important because they are a coastal community, and once the bags get into the marine environment, they can be lethal to many aquatic organisms that are very valuable and worth protecting in this area.
If the legislation passes and the city of Sarasota does agree to participate, the temporary plastic bag ban would go into effect January 2018 and run through June 2020. The city of Sarasota is going green in another way: electric shuttle cars. City commissioners are approving a contract with Gotcha Ride. You'll be able to use the service for free and could hail one of the shuttles with a mobile app. The city will pay nearly $340,000 for a 2-year pilot program. Shuttles will be available from Mound Street to 14th Street and from School Avenue to the Bayfront. Now to Lakewood Ranch, where deputies are investigating a murder. Manatee County Sheriff's deputies say the victim was found in Greenbrook Park around midnight early Sunday. Investigators say a security guard found 23-year-old Alexander Chirp near his vehicle. He was beaten and taken to the hospital, where he later died. Investigators say he was likely targeted. The murder comes as a shock to the normally quiet community.
We're very concerned and upset about it, since this is usually a very nice neighborhood and quiet and peaceful, and it's really kind of a shame. It's frightening, actually.
No arrests have been made. Anyone with information on the case is asked to call the Manatee County Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers at 866-634-TIPS. Meanwhile, a Bradenton man is behind bars tonight after a shooting this morning. The sheriff's office says it received calls of shots fired near 38th Avenue East and US 301 around 4 a.m. When deputies responded, the suspect opened fire at them from inside a home. The SWAT team was called in and the suspect was captured. No one was hurt. 34-year-old Mark Davis is now behind bars. He is charged with aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer. Citrus greening continues to ravage Florida's citrus industry. Now, more help is on the way from the federal government. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is awarding $13.6 million to researchers across the country to study the disease. Citrus greening has been around in Florida for a decade, and there is no known cure. Congressman Vern Buchanan fought to include the funding in a 2014 Farm Bill. Florida's citrus industry has an annual economic impact of nearly $11 billion. Bob, can't complain about the weather.
Really can't. The only downside, Alan, if any at all, has been some fog in the morning, but temperatures really quite warm, upper 70s to low 80s, and this is typically the coolest time of the year for us here with our normal highs in the low 70s typically during this month. Now here's what's going on. Currently we have generally fair skies. The sun has gone down below the horizon. Temperatures are starting to go down too. 75 degrees right now. The dew point is high at 58, and that means our low temperature will be similar to that number right there. Barometer 3011, and that is holding steady, still high. And speaking of that, we have high pressure dominating the weather over much of the Sunshine State with all the clouds kind of riding to the north, and we are not going to anticipate much in terms of any kind of serious problems as far as rain goes. You see the showers here. Everything seems moving west to east here with the zonal pattern, and the high pressure ridge is situated here, bringing us that fair sky and warm temperatures. Right now, it's 71 in Bradenton, same in Sarasota and Englewood. A bit warmer in Arcadia and Mayaca City. Northport, you're at 75, and Cortez, same as the Gulf water temperature, which is at 69 degrees. Forecast through this evening looks good, warm, and fog forming late tonight. Could be a problem for commuters tomorrow, but all in all, that's the only downside to our weather, and that's not much.
And by the way, I was right and you were wrong about the Super Bowl. Thank you very much.
I said Patriots, didn't I?
No, you said Falcons.
I don't know. I'll have to go back and check the tape.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go double check on that.
All right. We'll catch up with that later.
You bet.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, thinking tiny, could you see yourself living in a home smaller than 600 square feet? It is an idea that is catching on across the nation, and now one man wants to bring the movement to Venice. We'll show you why when we return.
Man, he used to hang out with us.
Yeah, and then he just stopped.
I hope he's gonna be okay.
1 in 5 of us has a mental health condition, but emotional pain can be hard to spot and harder to talk about. Learn the 5 signs of emotional suffering. If you see 1 or more signs in someone you care about, reach out, connect, and offer to help.
Megan, come sit with us.
Visit changedirection.org.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Jacqueline Matter.
And I'm Ray Collins. Improving your cell phone service at the risk of your health? That's a concern by some in Englewood.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast, we'll show you why a new proposal is causing controversy. John?
We'll watch an approaching cold front bring us lower humidity and a chance of showers. We'll talk about that bright and early.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. ABC7 News at 7, weeknights.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on a pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
We have often reported on the growing issue of the lack of affordable housing here on the Suncoast. The reality is, increasingly, police officers, firefighters, teachers, and other professionals simply can't afford to live in the communities where they serve. But as Christopher Brantley tells us, some of the best ideas aren't always the biggest. In this case, it is just the opposite. Christopher.
Absolutely, Alan. And we first told you about this story last year. However, after a series of pitfalls, the proposal fell by the wayside. Now it's back on the table, but there is still a big hurdle to cross. It was only a few years ago that Carrie Smith fell on hard times.
I know how that feels when you have to sacrifice something just to put bread on the table to feed your child.
For Smith, one thing that could have helped her was an affordable rent. Unfortunately, where she lived in California, she couldn't find that.
I was divorced and my son was 18 months old. Some college background, not able to get my degree.
With all other options exhausted, she moved to Venice with her parents for the promise of a small room for her and her infant son.
Had a little separate room for them, and for a year or two while she got on her feet, we were able to help her.
But soon the economy tanked and they were all back to square one.
I lost the house and my business, and if it wasn't the fact that I had a few dollars in the bank, which a lot of these folks don't when hard times come, I would have been one of the candidates for one of these homes.
At life's critical junction, Bud Lefebvre decided he wanted to help what he calls the forgotten ones.
A lot of them I found through research are sleeping in tents with their children. They're sleeping in cars, behind buildings.
Lefebvre found people who work 40 or more hours a week but aren't making enough money to afford local rental payments.
We did a calculation for just the northeast part of town, and we came up with roughly the need for 1,200 units of affordable housing if we wish to provide enough available housing for the people that need it now.
Lefebvre's plan would put 40 or so 400 to 600 foot square homes on a piece of property like a small home neighborhood. The rent would be between $400 to $600 a month, depending on the size of the home. This property is one that he's looking into.
We want this to be like a condo village for them, to where they can come in and know every day that they're safe and that there's people around that care about them.
Last year, he partnered with a local business to get started, but that didn't work out. For the last year, he's been beating the pavement to regain support.
And I went to some places to see about what we have to do to raise some money to build this thing. And they all told me what I needed to do, so the last year I've spent doing that.
Venice's Mayor John Hollick supports the small housing idea. On his own, Hollick has been trying to come up with a solution on affordable housing himself.
I think I'm very close to a private party stepping in, not using any government money.
He hopes to have some sort of apartment complex geared towards affordable housing. The term affordable housing is often misleading. What a waiter or waitress can afford is probably going to be different from what a doctor can afford. And that's the point here. When it comes to affordable housing, increasingly the Suncoast is a story of have and have-nots. Even police, firefighters, teachers, and other professionals can't afford to live in the communities where they work.
$30,000 to $40,000 a year job is not enough for someone that's going to be charged $1,200 a month for rent.
If you start looking at who they are, they range from old folks to young kids.
Carrie Smith knows people right now who are candidates for small homes.
Two of the girls that I work with are struggling just to make ends meet. They have small children, they're divorced, and they both of them live with their parents.
Having been there and done that, Smith joined her dad in his relentless pursuit to help those people like her coworkers, people who work full-time jobs but don't make enough to live.
It would bolster their self-esteem, their pride. They would be more motivated. They have someplace safe, and they know their child's safe and taken care of. It would be huge. Yeah. It would save them.
Now, if all goes according to plan and there are little to no hang-ups with preparing the land for the homes, Lefebvre says he hopes he can have the small homes livable within a year. That is all contingent upon him raising a whole lot of money, though.
All right, Christopher, thank you. Coming up in a minute, the builder, the mayor, and the keeper of all the statistics joining us on the trapezoid.
I am a veteran. My victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
At DAV, we help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory was finishing my education.
My victory was getting help to put our lives back together.
DAV provides veterans with a lifetime of support.
My victory is being there for my family.
Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
ABC7, My Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch My Suncoast News wherever you are. On our live stream, on our newly redesigned MySuncoast.com, and a brand new ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, and dining with recipes and all the hottest Suncoast restaurants. Visit MySuncoast.com and click on the mobile tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for iOS and Android.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions Now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Whether a family member needs a little extra help around the house, assistance recovering from a hospital stay, or someone to check in on them throughout the week, Right at Home's in-home care is the answer. Your loved one deserves the right care, and now we need caregivers to help give the right care for the right reasons, the right way. At Right at Home, we're one of the only private home health agencies in this area with the opportunity to earn paid time off. If you're someone who loves helping people, take a look at our website and click on Jobs to join our team today.
Welcome back. Are tiny houses a viable solution to the problem of affordable housing? According to Make Room USA, an organization which reports on rental issues, Florida ranks third in the nation for the number of renters who spend more than half of their income on rent. In fact, 29% of Florida renters fall into this category. The cost to rent a tiny house ranges, but the goal is to make the one planned for Venice available starting at $400 a month. And joining us for more on this topic and how you could become a reality is Bud Lefebvre, the man trying to build those houses. John Hollick is the mayor of Venice, and Juliana Musheyev is the project manager at Sarasota County Openly Plans for Excellence, better known as SCOPE. Thanks all of you for joining us. And Juliana, I say you are the woman with the statistics, and you have some incredible statistics. And Mayor, you know, I'm curious whether you were aware of this. We were talking before the broadcast in terms of how the median price of homes has increased in just the Venice area. We're not talking about Sarasota itself, but the Venice area. And what did you find out?
That's right. I found out that from 2000 to 2016, the median sales price for a single-family home in Venice has increased by 103%. That's higher than what we've seen for the increase in Northport, which was 61% in the course of 16 years, and in Sarasota, 86%.
So the median price of a home in Sarasota is what, and what is it in Venice?
In the city of Sarasota, not the county, the city, it's $202,000 to buy a median sales price single-family home. In Venice, it's $345,000, a big difference from the city of Sarasota.
And Mayor, we've done so many stories on the fact that even when you're talking about Sarasota itself, that our police and our firefighters or teachers can no longer afford to live here. They're coming from sometimes an hour or more away, and I would, just from Juliana's numbers, that's got to be more acute in Venice. What kind of impact does this have on your community?
Well, I think it has a tremendous impact. I think that part of making a whole community is being able to live where you work. And we have outpriced that person. We've made the community, and I'll probably hear repercussions from this, but we've made the community too desirable.
Explain that.
Well, what causes prices of homes to go up is the desirability. People want to live there. And we've done a very good job of making Venice look nice. We've made it a great place to come and retire. But at the same time, we have our demand for our housing far outstrips the supply.
Well, what kind of feedback have you gotten from the people who work at City Hall, from your police and firefighter and teachers in terms of their ability to live where they work?
We talk with them, we try to help, we try to find housing for them, but you know, the reality of the situation is it just isn't there right now. Every once in a while, whenever a home under $200,000, if it were to come to market, it would not be on the market that long.
But you started this effort because of, as we reported, a very personal situation. But sometimes when you experience a personal situation, it opens your eyes about the greater problem. What kind of research have you done to look at how these tiny homes work elsewhere and whether they would be a practical solution to Venice's problem?
Well, I've spent about a year doing the research, and there are a number of organizations all across the country now doing this. It started because there's a group of younger people called minimalists, and
not millennials.
these are the young ones, the minimalists, and they, for example, in San Francisco, to rent a one-bedroom place, it's $3,000 a month. So what they do is they started going out and building their own little place on wheels, and they'd park it somewhere so they could afford. And that just has simply grown.
All right. We are just getting started with this conversation. Our discussion of affordable housing and tiny houses continues right after a check on our forecast, so stay with us.
Why do I run? I think life's a journey. Every step brings me closer to my goal. I run to see the world, and when you're surrounded by so much beauty, how could it not take your breath away?
Join us at Robinson Preserve Friday, March 31st at 6:30 p.m. for our 9th annual Twilight 5K and 10K race. At one of the most beautiful scenic race courses in Florida. This race will leave you breathless.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman are the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Our discussion of big rents and tiny houses in Venice continues in a moment, but right now let's get a check on our forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
I'll tell you right now, we are looking at delightful weather here for this time of year. This is typically the coldest time of the year, late January, early February, and we're looking at nearly record high temperatures. Today, the high was into the low 80s. Patchy fog, though, only downside. It'll be a warm week for the most part. There's a cold front that is due to arrive on Thursday, which will start to bring in a chance for a few showers, and then slightly cooler temperatures arrive on Friday. As far as the overall picture goes of rainfall, it's to the north and to the south. A few isolated light showers are still possible, but that's due to the sea breeze and warm temperatures today up into the mid-80s in the inland areas, causing just enough lift in the atmosphere to create a few spotty showers. This is a little overdone, but there are a few showers underneath that cloud deck right now into interior portions of Sarasota and Manatee County. Sarasota right now at 71, same at Braden and Venice, checking in at 69 with a few clouds there currently. And as far as the high goes, well, there it is, 81 degrees, just a few degrees shy of the record set back in 1989 when it warmed to 85. 56 was the morning low, that too running well above the average, which is 52 degrees. So 56 was the low this morning. And no rainfall to report. We have a deficit so far for the year at about an inch. And we could get a little bit of rainfall on Thursday, not a lot. The rain chance still very small. Temperatures down into the mid-60s to the north, 61 now in Jacksonville, 70 in Orlando, at 75 in Miami, and temperatures in the low 70s to mid-70s now across the region. Arcadia at 75, Northport you're at 74, and 72 in Braden. The forecast calls for nice weather tomorrow. Once again, we'll have a little bit of fog around that'll burn off, and we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds, more sun than clouds in the afternoon, and temperatures staying into the upper 70s to mid-70s near the coast, low 80s near the beaches. Now, as far as boaters are concerned, it's going to be pretty nice out there as well. South winds at 10 knots. Seas will be 1 to 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature pretty warm for this time of year, 69. Typically the water temperature at this time into the upper 50s. So that's about 10 degrees above average. I know back in 2010 in that extreme winter that we had, the water temperature actually was into the upper 40s to low 50s. So it can get downright cold, but it's not happening right now. High tide at 7:59 this evening, a low tide at 4:54, and then a sunrise at 7:12. Current forecast looks like this for overnight. A little bit of fog, otherwise 59. Tomorrow, look for another nice day after the fog burns off. 78 for your high. The extended forecast calling for breezy on Thursday with a chance for showers. Cooler on Friday, but then warm back over the weekend. Alan will be right back after this.
Attention blood clot filter patients. Surgically implanted blood clot filters are potentially life-threatening. Some filters are prone to breaking, resulting in pieces of the filter moving through the body and causing internal bleeding. If you had surgery to implant a blood clot filter, you may be entitled to a cash award, even if you haven't suffered side effects yet. Call the Gold Shield Group now, 888-747-5291, to see if you qualify for a cash award, 888-747-5291.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you. Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call 1-800-738-1923.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction Hope and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Florida's last private island is a waterfront lifestyle like no other. This is Harbor Isle, just 5 minutes from the sugar sand beaches of Anna Maria Island. This sun-splashed paradise invites you to enjoy natural adventures and all the recreation of a tropical resort. Island coach homes and waterfront condos are now available from the high 400s, plus incredible savings on move-in ready homes. Come tour 6 designer models. This is the time of your life. Make it island time at Harbor Isle. Go to mintofla.com now.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are discussing the idea of building tiny houses in Venice to help deal with the high cost of housing. Our guests tonight are Bud Lefebvre, the man trying to build those tiny houses, Venice Mayor John Hollick, and Juliana Mushevev, a community engaged researcher at Scope. And Bud, let's start again with you because you referred to those minimalist houses that you often see on cable TV shows. There have been a lot of feature stories about that. People like those tiny houses. Some of them are really, they may be small, but they are, they're loaded. Is that what we're talking about here, or are we talking about something that's kind of stripped down and more affordable?
No, that's what we're talking about. The industry has gotten so big. There are companies, and I've been out talking to them and getting quotes. For example, we can build a 400 square foot house with a full kitchen, bathroom, 2 bedrooms, a living area, up to code, hurricane proof, delivered to where we'd like to put it for about $25,000. Okay. Which means the builder is building it for $60.
And what kind of community would you envision here? There were some artist renditions that were in our story there, but is this, a small HOA type of situation, kind of where you have a very cohesive neighborhood, or who are living in these homes?
Yeah, Dr. Marbut put a proposal together, I think, in 2015, and I read that, and I also went out and talked to a lot of folks like Mayor Hollick here. And what I really want to do is build what you just said, a village, a neighborhood. It will have these homes. It will have paved walkways. We intend to put a small business on it where people who are not working or need to work full-time can work to generate some income. A community center where we can help them and everything. So the purpose is to get those people, those low-wage earners and work people, to feel comfortable and know that that's taken care of so they can get on with the rest of their life.
Dr. Marbut, if people don't know the name, was hired locally here to study the homelessness issue. He's a nationwide expert, although he was a little bit controversial around these parts and moved on. Mayor, you hear what Bud's proposal is. What kind of feedback have you gotten? Do you see this as a practical, at least part of the solution for Venice's problem?
I have talked with Bud on several occasions on the tiny house project, and I actually view it as a solution. It's not the solution. There's a lot of different solutions out there that can help alleviate the problem. And I'm very confident that if Bud can put this together, that will be one of the solutions that will help.
Because obviously you're not going to squeeze a family of 4 into a tiny house like this. So it's who are you looking at in terms of those who would live there?
Yeah, I'd encourage anybody to look at these up on the computer, and yes, you can. Okay. It's amazing what they can do with these places now. They can do it with 200 square feet. If you look at the mobile homes, they're less than 400 square feet, but you got families living in them.
Mayor, what kind of feedback have you gotten around town about this?
Well, everybody's afraid of affordable housing, that it's going to bring an element in that we don't want in the city. But what people don't see is that affordable housing is necessary for our CNAs, even our registered nurses, our entry-level school teachers. The feedback that I've gotten is very positive from a lot of people, but fearful from other people.
Okay, Juliana, Let's go over the rule of thumb again in terms of the income versus how much you should be paying for rent. And we talked about, what was it, about $400 a month in terms of rent?
Four to six.
You know, what is the rule of thumb in terms of that kind of rent and the kind of income which would be sufficient for that?
So the rule of thumb used by mostly everyone when talking about housing affordability, it's called housing cost burden, which means that you should not be paying more than 30% of your income towards your housing costs. Right now, about 20% of the population in Venice making less than $20,000 a year is paying more than 30% of their income on their housing costs. And 45% of low-income households are paying actually 50% or more of their income on their housing costs.
Now, Scope studies the impact of a lot of these statistics on, in terms of on people's lives. And what are what kind of results do you get when you have people paying such large percentages of their income towards their rent?
It takes away from the money that they can spend on other things that they need, like healthcare, childcare, healthy food. It also has an economic impact because it takes away from the money that they can spend on the local businesses in their neighborhoods. The more extreme impacts are the family might end up on the street or living with their extended family members or their friends. They'd go into enormous amounts of debt. You know, if you need to get health care, you need to pay for it somehow, so you end up in an endless cycle of debt. So the impacts are not good at all.
This is a endless and vicious cycle for a lot of families, and there are our friends and neighbors. They go to the school with our children, and even a beautiful community like Venice is not, immune from this. So something has to be done here.
It does, and I guess the way I explain it is that we have a large number of people that are a flat tire away from being homeless. Any expenditure that hits them, an unplanned expenditure, could actually cause them to have to not pay rent.
But quickly, where are you at in terms of this process? I know that you wanted to buy a piece of property and build it there. How far have you gotten?
We're negotiating on a price now for one particular one, and we're negotiating on another piece of property with another person. We've gotten all of the prices and costs necessary. We checked with Sarasota on zoning, and the particular property we're looking at is already residential, and it's got the buildings where we can do the other things.
And how is this going to work? I mean, do you have the money that you can invest, or are you getting investors to go in on it with you?
Well, no, I don't have the money. We've become a 501c3. I've retained a company that's going to help me. We've got a website going up now, and we're going to go out in the not too distant future. We want to reach out to absolutely everybody. We're not looking for someone to give us a lot of money. We're looking for a lot of people who care to donate a little bit. It can be other organizations, charity organizations, because they can use these facilities as well.
If you could address something that the mayor said just a moment ago in terms of people want to be helpful, but they're also reluctant to bring a certain element into their community that may be problematic.
I'm glad you raised that. The word homeless scares the heck out of people. The people that are going to come here, very few of them are homeless. They have low income and cannot afford to put down $1,000 plus another $1,000 plus a deposit plus a fee if they got a dog and get into a decent place. Right now there are some living in tents, there are some that are sleeping in cars, and there's some of them living for that amount of money to rent a room and all of that. So that's the market. When you hear the word homeless, you get scared. But the homeless are the real homeless that the people conceive are the folks out there that are enabled, and they got a lot of charities helping them. But they're can I give you a couple examples?
After this commercial break.
Okay.
Let's take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests. Plus, what some of our viewers are saying about President Trump's visit to MacDill Air Force Base.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
Is the debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need
the Debt Ninja. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, you could be facing wage garnishments, levies, liens, property seizure, cancellation of business license, closure of business. The Debt Ninja fights your IRS debt. That's why you need the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja has found the best companies in the country who are on your side to fight debt. Want to learn if you qualify for the IRS Financial Hardship Program? Stop the IRS from garnishing your wages. Even if your bank account has been seized, if you have undeclared taxes, if you have existing IRS debt, it's not too late to call, so grab your phone now. Call the Debt Ninja at 800-945-0083. That's 800-945-0083. Settle your IRS debt to get the power of the Debt Ninja. Dial this number now, 800-945-0083.
Ideologue. I am an originalist.
Flooring Depot has been serving Sarasota and Manatee counties for over 20 years with the best products and installation. Flooring Depot offers carpet, tile, hardwood, and more. Before you buy, give us a try. Stop by our showroom or visit us on the web at bestvaluecarpet.com.
Come out to the best party of the season, the Goodwill Mardi Gras Gala on February 28th at Michael's on E. Tickets at experiencegoodwill.org.
Welcome back. Could tiny houses help relieve the issue of affordable housing in Venice? Does it at least represent a small portion of the bigger solution? Our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Bud, what would you tell people who are watching this right now and saying to themselves, I don't know about this?
I would tell them that they're fortunate that they have the lifestyle they have, but there's a number of people out there who haven't been that fortunate for a period of time. And like Juliana said, the numbers indicate that it's difficult. We just want to build a neighborhood where they can come in and live like everybody else does in the associations and like that, so that they can get a little self-pride and a little self-esteem, raise a little extra money, and live the life that they should be entitled to in America.
Mayor, you said that you see this as at least part of the solution, but obviously something has to get done, not just in Venice, but everywhere, especially along here on the Suncoast, because increasingly our beloved Suncoast is becoming more unaffordable to more and more people.
Yes, it is, and the direction that I'm working is a little bit different than the one that Bud is working. I'm working on more of an apartment type affordability, and we have to remember that as we do this, we have to be ever mindful that there's density requirements on land, and we may be keeping this affordable housing out just by having too low of density on the property. So we're looking at that aspect as well.
And finally, Juliana, could you give us a sense of how many communities in our area are dealing with this issue of affordability almost in an acute way?
Communities all around the country are dealing with this issue. I can't give you a number of how many communities, but it's not just the person who you see on the street. It's the working poor. It's the people who you would never know that they have financial problems, but they'll tell you when you get close to them that if I don't get paid, I'm not going to have a house next month.
And that is the situation. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about a judge's decision to suspend President Trump's executive order on immigration. The order restricts immigration from 7 majority Muslim countries. The Trump administration plans to challenge the judge's ruling, and we ask you what you think of the ban. Sean McAuliffe writes, funny how he didn't ban any of the countries involved in 9/11. Sandra Inslee Goodrey replies, I think people like you need to stop second-guessing U.S. intelligence agencies and some of the greatest military minds in the world. That's who Trump consults with to make decisions. Wow. And Garad Davis replied to that. You mean Steve Bannon? Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in the Navy as a lower-ranked officer for a few years. I forgot that he is very well qualified. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And FYI, want to watch past roundtable discussions? They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to our guests for being here tonight. Bud Lefebvre is the man behind the effort to build tiny homes in Venice. John Hollick is the mayor of Venice, and Juliana Mushevev is the community-engaged researcher at Sarasota County Openly Plans for Excellence, or SCOPE. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather. Plus, El Faro, the cargo ship, sank off of Florida's coast in October 2015. Now, a final hearing is being held on the accident. Find out why the ship's former chief mate could be on the hook for safety problems. The details in our primetime headlines.
Attention small business owners. Penn Funding announces the easiest and fastest business funding program, the Platinum Business Account.
We needed cash fast. Business is good, but this is an emergency.
We needed some new equipment, and the banks wouldn't help us. At Penn Funding, we like to say, yes, you're approved. With your Platinum Business Account, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more. This amazing new business account funding program is so effective, you could have the cash you need in just days.
I called, spoke with an agent who pre-qualified us, and connected me.
Call now for your Platinum Business Account. If you've been in business for at least 6 months, you could qualify for up to $50,000 or more in just days.
I called Penn Funding and had my money fast.
Need cash for your business? Call Penn Funding now.
Call 800-658-3433. 800-658-3433.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Join us for Sarasota Opera's 2017 Winter Festival, opening February 11th. Featuring Puccini's most famous opera, Madame Butterfly, Rossini's delightful comedy, The Italian Girl in Algiers, Poulenc's heartbreaking Dialogues of the Carmelites, and the medieval thriller, The Love of Three Kings by Italo Montemezzi. Tickets are on sale now. Call 941-328-1300 or visit sarasotaopera.org.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in just a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our weather from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Well, Ellen, at the top of the news, you had suggested that maybe I picked Atlanta. But no, I had to go back to the physical evidence to check it out, and here it is. Let's listen.
I'm picking the Patriots because I was born in Massachusetts and my kids were born there. And Bob, your pick is?
I got to tell you, I think it's one for the thumb for the Patriots. They'll get 5, I think. They coach there, Belichick. It's hard to beat. He's hard to beat in these big games, and we'll see what happens. I hope it's a lot better than the championship games were, though. Those were kind of dud.
I'm picking the Patriots because
yeah, there we go. So it was a good game.
Stand corrected.
Okay. It was fun nonetheless. And it did turn out to be a good game. It was a dud the first half, actually first half and even into the first half of the third quarter, but it turned into one of the best games I've ever watched. And I stayed up to watch the whole thing last night, which was really quite entertaining. The Van Wezel webcam, if you're an Atlanta fan, I'm sure it wasn't too entertaining, but Van Wezel webcam showing a beautiful sunset tonight. Skies are generally fair, and we'll see that continue, although we will see some fog form again late tonight, and a few showers to the north of us and off into the northern Gulf of Mexico. And down to our south, we even have a few sea breeze showers that have popped up because temperatures in the mid part of the state into the mid 80s there, and just enough heat to cause some lift, a little bit of a sea breeze causing a few brief showers. We'll keep a 20% chance for rain for the next hour or so. But if the rain moves in, it's going to be very light, and a lot of folks aren't going to get any at all. Sarasota right now 71, and Braden 70, 69. In Venice with a few clouds around. The high today It warmed up to 81. That's well above the average of 72. So we'll see similar conditions again tomorrow. And it looks like temperatures currently into the upper 60s to mid 60s near the coast. 72 now at Lake Sarasota, 71 in Osprey, and in Northport you're at 71, Plantation 72, and Inglewood at 67 degrees. Forecast tomorrow, as I said, looks just as good as it was today. We're looking at plenty of sunshine, just a few areas of clouds now and again, especially in the morning as that fog burns off. We see some low clouds kind of developing and moving on in. And get a look at the beach and boating forecast tomorrow. South winds at 10 knots. Seas will be 1 to 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. And as far as the tides go upcoming for Sarasota Bay, just before 8 o'clock, we have a high tide. Sunrise will be at 7:12. The forecast tonight, overnight fog, otherwise partly cloudy, warm, upper 50s to near 60. Tomorrow, another gorgeous day. Southeast winds turn to the south at 10. The extended forecast, breezy on Thursday as the front gets close. It pushes through. A slight chance for showers then, and then clearing and cooler on Friday, but a warm weekend ahead. Ellen will be right back with primetime headlines right after this.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
Are you considering joint replacement or revision surgery? Consider this. Dr. Edward Stolarski has performed thousands of successful joint replacement procedures and trained surgeons from all over the world. Using advanced technologies, Dr. Stolarski is able to perform some of the most complex surgeries.
I wish I knew about Dr. Stolarski much sooner.
After the surgery, I don't have any pain. It's like I've got a 16-year-old hip.
My name's Ed Stolarski. What I really do is I give people back their life.
Schedule a consultation today.
The official salon of ABC7. Cutting Loose Salon.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman are the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
Now for a look at your primetime headlines. President Trump is getting back to business today, rallying our troops at MacDill Air Force Base while fielding criticism from U.S. allies. ABC's Janae Norman has the latest.
In his first address to troops, President Trump taking on, quote, radical Islamic terrorism, saying his highest duty is to protect the American people.
ISIS is on a campaign of genocide, committing atrocities across the world. Radical Islamic terrorists are determined to strike our homeland, as they did on 9/11, as they did from Boston to Orlando to San Bernardino, and all across Europe. So today we deliver a message in one very unified voice to these forces of death and destruction. America and its allies will defeat you.
But for some of our closest allies, there's opposition to President Trump. In the UK, the Speaker of the House of Commons drew cheers as he expressed he would not invite Trump to give a formal address at Westminster Hall.
I feel very strongly that our opposition to racism and to sexism and our support for equality before the law and an independent judiciary are hugely important considerations in the House of Commons.
And the criticism of the president isn't letting up back home.
I have not called for the impeachment yet. He's doing it himself.
Meanwhile, Senate Democrats have launched a 24-hour talkathon, holding the Senate floor for a full day to try to persuade at least one more Republican to vote against Betsy DeVos for Secretary of Education. One Democrat even urged Americans who've been calling and emailing their senators to vote no to DeVos to double down on their advocacy. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
As you just heard, the confirmation of Education Secretary nominee Betsy DeVos is set to drag out. Senate Democrats are vowing to oppose the wealthy GOP donor and charter school advocate. Two Republicans are even announcing plans to oppose her confirmation. If that happens, it would be a 50-50 tie, and Vice President Mike Pence would be forced to cast the tie-breaking vote. Meanwhile, Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch is meeting with top Senate Democrats in an effort to shore up his own confirmation. Today, Gorsuch met with California Senator Dianne Feinstein, the top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Gorsuch needs support from at least 60 senators. If Republicans unanimously approve him, he would need to get votes from at least 8 Democrats. Every 20 years, a group of representatives from across Florida come together to propose changes to the state's constitution. It's that time, and the new Revision Commission is being assembled. Members are independently appointed by Governor Scott, the Senate President, the Speaker of the House, the Attorney General, and the Chief Justice of Florida Supreme Court. Justice Jorge Labraga is choosing 3 attorneys. He says they are qualified for the task.
Proposed changes to our most fundamental law is an awesome responsibility. It should never be done lightly, and never without a thorough base of knowledge about why the founders of this great nation chose the system we have today.
The commission will meet over the coming year. Proposals would go in front of voters on the 2018 ballot. Last time, voters approved 8 of the 9 changes recommended. Remember the cargo ship El Faro, which sank off of Florida in 2015, killing all 33 people aboard? Today, the final chapter in this disaster is being written. The Coast Guard is holding its final hearing on the sinking of the El Faro. The former chief mate on the ship says he is not sure if life jackets were stored on the bridge as required. Recordings from the black box reveal crew members scrambled to get life jackets in their final moments. The 790-foot ship sank after getting caught in Hurricane Joaquin. The hearing is expected to last 2 weeks. Now to Fort Pierce, where the man who set fire to a mosque is getting 30 years in prison. 32-year-old Joseph Schreiber pled guilty to a charge of second-degree arson today. Prosecutors say he set the fire because he believed Muslims, quote, are trying to infiltrate our government and that the teaching of Islam should be completely illegal. Schreiber set the fire at the Islamic Center of Fort Pierce in September. No one was injured. Pulse nightclub shooter Omar Martin sometimes attended that mosque. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.